See, see,
One of the highlights of the show that
see, bus, see, bus, see, bus, see, bus, see.
Hey. Y'all know how I do. Welcome to the Sheep Hub Network, where we talk books, authors, and publishers. I am Shanitha Finesse, CEO and founder of She Publishing LLC. And tonight we continue to celebrate Women's History Month. This is all about women empowerment. This is episode 4, where we will talk roadblocks, barriers, and the battle within. But we will also be shedding the light on and talking about the green flags of life and choosing to see the cup half full instead of half empty, even in the midst of a storm. So I want to welcome you guys for joining us again tonight. You know, we got Natasha in the audience now. You know they're gonna want to hear what you got to say, but we are gonna get it going. And without further ado, I am going to welcome my co-host, LaShonda Demery.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited about tonight. Again, I am LaShonda Demery, and I'm just trying to breathe. I'm just trying to breathe right now. This is a very deep topic we have tonight. It was good to see Natasha show up as well. Hello, Shanitha. Thank you for allowing me to be your co-host. I am still super excited about it. It'll be over before I can believe that it happened, right? So I am
This
excited.
all together, you know.
Yes, I did. To God be the glory. So I'm just excited about tonight. And I want to welcome everybody on here tonight. We had a short spiel before we came on. So we're trying to give you much as we can tonight, our true selves. So I'm just ready. I'm excited. I'm LaShonda. I'm the author of Tears of a Lost Soul. And I'll tell you more about my book probably at the end. I don't want to get into it right now because I'm so excited about our guest tonight.
Yeah.
It's back in your hands, Shanitha. Let's roll.
Okay. All right. Well, then the first guest we're going to introduce tonight is Omia Tylette, and I'll let her introduce herself as well. Welcome.
Welcome.
And mute. You know, y'all, we love that mute, y'all. We love that mute.
I swear I'm always muting because I don't want nobody to go unheard. Like, I just want everybody to be heard. I am super excited to be here. I've been on every episode in the background, y'all. And I was excited. I'm like, let me just get in here at least 2 episodes. Like, I want to chat it up with y'all. I am Omia Tylette, doctor. Author of Dr. She. You guys, I'm just too nervous. I don't know what's going on. Author of Dr. P.
You're looking cute.
And creator of Girl Get Up All-in-One Journal. I am a mother of 5, 3 grandchildren, full-time mom. I mean, it's just all day with me. Full-time accountant with an amazing real estate firm, just waiting for one day to where I'm just writing full-time. So I'm excited to be here. I'm so glad you guys invited me. I'm just ready to get this conversation started.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And then we will introduce next Glow Rose, and we will let her introduce herself. Welcome, Glow.
Thank you for having me. Hi, good night, everyone. My name is Glow Rose. I'm the author of Good Night, My Blessing, and many journals and books to help our children with emotional health and wellness. That is my passion, but my heart are my 2 little boys. Well, One will say he's not so little, he's a teenager. But my two boys, and I am in the finance industry working as a manager in one of our local area companies. So finance, children's books, being a mom, that is my life in pretty much a nutshell. A wife also. I might pay for that later because I think he might be watching. So
You gonna pay for that.
I'll pay for that later. But wife, mother, and full-time worker, author. So that is me in a nutshell.
All right. Thank you for joining us. And then next we will introduce Entity. She is also another sister in authorship. Welcome to the chat.
Hello, hello. Hey, everybody.
And
I
what book
am,
and what
oh,
my bad.
I'm Entity. I am the author of Here I Am, a memoir for motivational purposes. I'm sure we'll have time to get into details about everything, but yes, my memoir, but it's heavy on the motivation. Me, outside of that persona, I am also a wife, a mother, finance professional with our beloved government. And I always joke I'm a finance sis, not a finance bro. But that's pretty much it. I'm just excited to get this conversation going, and I'll get more into the details of my book later.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And then we also have Lady C. Dixon in the building. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I, like everyone else, am absolutely excited to be on tonight. Excited that my sister in Christ, LaShonda, reached out to me and asked me to come on and be a part. So I'm just grateful. I am Lady C. I am the wife of Pastor Tim Dixon at the Triumphant Church, and I'm also the host of WHIP on Mondays, and that's Women in Prayer on Mondays.
Nice. Well, thank you for joining us. We are excited to hear what you all have to say. And then last and certainly not least, we have Angela in the building. Welcome, Angela. Oh, all right. So what we are going to do is while Angela is getting situated, we're going to go ahead and just get started.
Right, let's get started. You know what I want to do? I want to jump right into those green flags. Seeing the cup half full and not empty. So I want us to lean in on that before we actually jump into um, our mainstream, right? And I want us to kind of open up with that discussion, seeing the cup half full and not half empty. Let me just take a look at something right quick. Um, so, ladies, tonight, before we get into our topic, that's what I want to hear us kind of talk about that just a little bit. How have you, what are you doing? What are you currently doing? And what have you done in the past to encourage yourself? What are those green flags in life? What keeps you going through the storm?
So
Who wants to go first?
I would say for me, lately it's been just remembering at least one blessing a day. That it's really not that easy. And I know when you say it, it's like, of course you can think of one blessing. You woke up, you're breathing, maybe you got a roof over your head, some heat in the room. But sometimes when everything just seems so overwhelming for one reason or another, project at work, you got the kids, you got running them from point A to point B, maybe a point C, D in there somewhere. It's hard. So one blessing every day.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. So for me, I love the green flag, seeing it half full. And I'm normally a half full person, and have been all of my life. And I thank God for that. But here recently, since November of last year, and I was getting sick last summer and didn't really realize how sick I was. And so in November, I went to the emergency room and they did scans, CAT scans, MRIs, and found that I had two large tumors in my brain. And so the tumor was so big that I was kind of out of it. I wasn't in my right mind. And but they immediately said, we have to go in and take this out. So we went in November. They took out the one on the left side. And listen, I'm pretty sure that they told my family I was going to have to go to rehab. I was going to wouldn't be able to talk, walk, know anybody or anything. Well, I just want you to know that when I got to the ICU room, and the next day I was up, talking, eating, in my right mind. And when I say the devotion, when the older people would say, "Thank you, Lord, for waking me up, clothed in my right mind with the activity of my limbs," it meant something totally different to me. It meant something totally different. And so my glass is half full. I've now had two craniotomies, two brain surgeries within the last 90 days. And God has blessed me immensely. And all I can tell you is I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm wearing some hair with a band on because they shaved most of my hair off in the top.
Wow.
But I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And so that's my half full. That is my green flag because I trusted God. I know God. I love God, but He took it to a whole nother level in the last 3 months.
Wow. I love that.
So glad you're
I
here.
love it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, yes, yes. All right, now
I can go
my
next.
heart is on now.
Yeah.
Need a tissue.
Listen, y'all, it's
Wow.
on tonight, ain't it? I saw entity chick, and she took that deep breath. She like, oh, she
Yeah,
got
'cause I'm gonna need a
chills,
tissue. That was
sis.
a lot. I'm so glad you're here. Oh man.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Ooh,
God, nobody but God.
but God.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Oh,
I
Mia,
never,
you were about to chime in.
yeah, I never looked at my glasses um, half empty. Or wait a minute, it was half full. I never looked at it like that. And I think it was because of a lot of no's. So when you say green flags, I had to learn that a lot of those no's meant for me that it wasn't time. And I didn't recognize that right away, guys. It took me a long time to understand that every no don't mean permanent no. It just means God got something better. If God would have placed me right now where I'm at now, back then when I first started, I would have blew it all. My mindset went there, everything went there. So looking at it as half full teaches me patience. Understanding it's just not my time. So I love that concept because I never had that before. I never thought like that.
Love
I love
that.
that.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. So it was a process. It was a process.
Definitely a process. A long one too, I may add. It's nothing that can happen overnight. Well, for me, it wasn't an overnight thing. It took me a long time. I had a lot of no's, a lot of bad things, and it was like constant. It was never nothing good. So I'm just like, you know what, whatever. It was never nothing positive. But I am grateful for that no. I'm grateful for all the no's because of where I'm at today.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, well, you know what? When I think about green flags, so I had a situation where I had to go to an MRI. So me, I'm a little bit. I don't like them small spaces. I don't like this real noisy
Claustrophobic.
machine, and so I'm like, man, like my husband or somebody gonna have to sit here with me with this machine. But I remember laying there, the machine going, and my brain just could not stop because I'm always on a go. I'm always helping somebody. I'm always doing something. I'm always like my brain just could not rest. And I didn't realize, like, in that moment, I realized like I have to like take some time for myself to rest. And that's what that was like telling me, like, you don't have to go all the time. You don't have to finish it all the time. Sometimes it's not meant to be finished at this particular time. So
Yeah.
for me, although it may have seemed like a dreadful situation, it was like because of what I was in there for, some health reasons, it was like this was my moment to look at the glass half full and say, okay, I was sat down. I need to go through this so that I can rest my brain and rest my mind and not be always on a go. So that's what I kind of think of when I think about the green flags and looking at the glass half full. Kind of similar to, Omia's situation.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go
I can
next.
go.
I'm sorry. This is Angela, and I do apologize about the issue I had a little earlier with my camera and everything.
That's
But
okay.
when I think about, my glass being half full, I I often think about the roadblocks that I've encountered in my life, and they kind of my roadblocks for me kind of started at a very young age. I was the oldest of five. I became a mother at 17, and then I had to take care of my parents and all those different things that was thrown at me. It kind of just felt like, when am I going to be able to flourish and grow into who I'm supposed to be? Because in the midst of providing, I'm taking care of everybody, being the oldest of five, I was like a caretaker. I had to watch all the siblings, and not only being the oldest of five, I was my grandmother's oldest grandchild. So I was the oldest in the whole everything. And that was like the early on beginning of a roadblock for me, because it kind of stopped me from growing into what I wanted to be or wanted to accomplish in my life. But now that I've gotten older and I've actually sat back and found myself following in the steps that I was raised in, God, I realized more that those roadblocks, they were not, actually roadblocks, they were bridges. They
Mm.
were bridges that he was building for me to cross. And when like when you're told no, like you were speaking of being told no, those times when I was told no, when I was trying to do something for myself and I was being told no, I had to just sit back and think about that. That was just a setback for my setup. He was preparing me for what was going to happen. He was just pushing everything back. And then when I started coming to the point where, like, oh my God, I'm having these setbacks, I'm steady having these roadblocks I gotta cross. When is this gonna happen? And it just was seeming like it was the end. Like everything was just coming to an end. But now I'm realizing that it was actually the beginning of the woman that he wanted me to be. He was just preparing me for that. He was rising me with the power that I now have, the grace, and he was guiding me into my divine purpose. So when I think about roadblocks, I just kind of look at those as like, stumbling blocks that's just slowing me down, because maybe I want to move too fast, or maybe I'm moving too fast, or it's some lessons that I still need to learn. So that's what I think about when I consider about roadblocks.
Okay, entity, you wanted to say something about the green flags. Thank you for sharing, Angela. You wanted to say something about the green flags and seeing your cup half full.
Yes. So for me, first off, Shanita and what she was saying, I wanted to say that God has a way of getting our attention. When you were saying that was your sign to rest and that you didn't have to do it all, God has a way of getting our attention. And for one part of mine, I always say, I want to listen. I don't want God to have to get my attention again, because I feel like, it's always that yank, because you didn't listen to the tap and you didn't listen to the push. Now I got to go ahead and pull you and be like, look here, so I don't want to get to that point. And it kind of reminded me of that when I was listening to you, because boy, will your attention be grabbed when it's all said and done. But for me, I always remind myself of my why. And when I say why, it's not always one thing in particular or one person in particular. It can be, a combination of things, but your reasons for why you're doing what you do. Because even in those moments where it's rough and you're full and you're exhausted, and you know, like you said, we do need rest, but there's some things we have to push through and keep doing. It's some days where it's like, okay, I don't want to get out the bed. I don't want to work. I don't want, life don't stop for us 99.9% of the time. And it's in those moments where you digging deep for something that for me, I remember my why. Whether it's a goal I'm working to accomplish, or it's my child, or my spouse, or my sisters, whatever it is that's driving that goal, or it might be all of it. I just go ahead and I remind myself that this is why I'm doing this. And that's what keeps me going. And I try to remain focused and remain positive and remember just everything that I know I'm supposed to be doing and why. Because again, on top of that, I don't want to get that yank. I don't want God to get my attention. I want to, so yeah,
So
that
when
was
we
pretty
talk,
much it.
that's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off
You
because I'm
good?
going. Thank you, entity. So
Thank
when we
you.
think about green flags, and I don't know if Shanita knew this or not, okay, but when we think about green flags, that is when we see God is moving. That's like our signs that God got us. That's our peace. That's our clarity. These are the green flags are signs that give us this awareness. Listen, I got you. You don't have to do it all by yourself. And in those moments, that's when we get clarity. So did you know that, Shanita?
Mm.
Did Okay, yeah. I say she hitting us with these green flags. I say Shanita in her word.
Because like everybody want to talk about the red flags, but let's talk about the green flags in
Amen.
friendship, in life, in our relationships,
It
in
ain't
what
all
we do
bad.
every day. So let's not forget about that.
So I want to give some pointers on the green flags before we move forward. And that's if we move forward. However, the spirit flows. Green flags look like this: peace showing up in places that used to trigger you. Okay. Clarity where confusion once lived. Healthy boundaries that protect your growth. New opportunities that align your purpose. People who pour into you and not drain you. And y'all already know when, as women, we want to get it done. We want to pour into everybody. And then self-control and hope. So those type of green flags in life, we need to write them down and be very aware of them, because those green flags are what keep us going. All right. Y'all about ready? We turn it, we doing like this. We ready now, y'all. So let's get into those roadblocks. And Angela jumped into the roadblocks. She was in it, was she?
She did. She
She
did.
jumped into the roadblocks. So for again tonight, our main theme for tonight is what has built you. What has what has built you? What has tried to break you? What is it? Make sure that I'm saying it right. What tried to break you during the storm? Okay, so we want to have that in the pillar of our minds as we have our discussion on tonight. And so let's get into our roadblocks, our barriers. We wanted to start off with the roadblocks first. So who wants to jump in?
I'll continue. I'll do. I will. Um, Roadblocks. I mean, they. I think every day we're faced with a roadblock every day of our life, because every day, we walk into something that can discourage us. Like when we go to work, we get discouraged when we go in and we got to pick up what someone else left off and didn't do their part. Or, when we're trying, like when we're trying to help someone, like as me, as being working in a rehabilitation center for addiction. I find a lot of roadblocks because I'm doing my best to help my patients, but my coworkers are like, oh well, they'll be back, they'll relapse. I don't like to think like that about anyone, you know. And for me, when I'm trying to give them the best care that I can or I know how, and someone else comes in and when they're working with them, it's just like nonchalant, like whatever. And to me, that can be a roadblock because that can make me frustrated. That can make me forget my purpose or what I have passion in. Because I can take all of that and turn it around and be into it with that person about what they're not doing. So the way that I deal with that is that I just think back to, like you were saying, why? Why am I here? Like what is my purpose? What does God has me doing? What has God molded me to be? What is God making me into? That's what I do with that. As that being a roadblock for me that I face every day. And it'll discourage me and it'll make me just sometimes want to fall back and just get slack just like them. But I'm like, no, that's not why I chose this field. That's not why God guided me into this field. He guided me into this field but to make a difference, to teach these people that they don't have to be victims of their past. And they can become vessels of God's glory, and to sum up their struggles and let them know that God is evidence in their strength. And then I just have to just sit back sometime and just think about what God has done for me, what He's doing for me, and what He will continue to do for me. That He's constantly shaping me. I'm just His mold of clay, and He's shaping me and molding me into what He wants.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know where that is coming from. Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought it was just me.
I do too.
Yeah, so maybe we can go on mute and see if that will stop at some point.
I don't hear it as much anymore. Oh, nope, it came back.
It's interference. I hear it. Yeah,
No, it
it
went away.
stopped.
We
Right.
good
So
now. Go ahead.
yeah, so and I actually like love what she was talking about when she said, I'm not gonna let what somebody else do, you know, hinder or overtake what I'm doing and what I was here for and my purpose. And it seems like sometimes when you don't want to be influenced by that. I don't know what to necessarily call it right now. I don't know if it's I don't know lack of focus or something like that, but I can appreciate, you not slacking and doing what you need to do because some people are in fields where we need you to be on top of your game, you know what I'm saying? So,
And so Natasha kind of hit where I was going with it too. People, and Angela, you as well, people unfortunately tend to influence us more than we want them to. And sometimes that's even when we are given 110%. We're really, really going for it. Our passion is showing in the work that we're giving out or output. And even that isn't received as good enough. For some reason, somebody, they may be hating, they may be jealous, they may be, why can't I do the same thing that they're doing? So as a result, they project that back onto you. And basically are like, you think you're all that and you're not. When in fact, you're killing the game. So that can be a huge roadblock. And one of the ways that I try to get past that, because I've dealt with that, is to maintain focus. I'm supposed to be doing something, I'm supposed to be on this. Quiet the noise, maintain focus. It's hard. It's not easy, but keep the focus.
That's what I had wrote down for that question. What has tried to break me? It started with insecurities first, and that came from just family and their disbeliefs of my capabilities. You would think that your family it would be your hugest support system, but they your biggest like critics, and not in a good way, but in a way of they're not doing it, so they don't see you do it. Even I had one cousin say, I didn't even know she can write at this grown age of mine. And that was somebody like that's family. So on top of whatever insecurities I've already had, it compounded. The way I got out of that though is like you said, Glow, shut out the noise. I went off social media, everything for a whole year. I shut out the noise and I focused in. And I'm learning to, like, now, before just doing something, I have many things. I've done many things, had many businesses. But what I didn't do with the previous things were I didn't pray about it first. I did it and then asked God to bless it. No, I'm going to talk to God first and then let him bless it. And that's how I got away out of that insecurity. See, I still struggle with it, but it's not as intense, and um, it don't alter my decision making. When I wanted to write the books, I wrote it. Regardless, even when I had people tell me, don't put your face on the book. I had family tell me that. Make it be written by a white person. Don't say your name. Shanita, no, I didn't even want to say my name. So it was like all of that. And when you hear that from the one you love, you're like, what? It bothers that insecurity. But sometimes we got to put on those horse blinders and just do it anyway.
Wow. That was good. That was real good. All right. Anything pressing on anybody else's heart about roadblocks? What's in your heart tonight? Entity?
Yes. Yeah. And I heard a few others speak about like those internal roadblocks. I think for me, one of my biggest roadblocks initially was failure, like, and disappointment because of it. Like, I did not like to fail. I did not like to lose. And I remember my mom telling me when I was young, like even when I was younger, I was always like that. Like, I did not like to feel like I wasn't accomplishing something or I wasn't completing something that I needed to be doing, and it would really bother me. And I had to kind of like unlearn and relearn my whole outlook on that, because like I had to learn like that's a part of life. You're not always going to win. You're not always going to be at the top of something, and that's okay. Like, when you push yourself and you do your best, 9 times out of 10, can you land there? Yes. But there's even then, there's that one time, that 1%. And you got to be okay with that. And I had to learn to not let that stop me. And if nothing else, use it as motivation. Like, okay, that's not a no, that's a not right now. And that doesn't mean stop. There may be something else I needed to do and I needed to slow down. Or maybe it just wasn't my time for that. I had to really embrace the fact that what's for me is for me. And that in spite of the failure and in spite of the disappointment I may feel in myself or the situation and what I feel I didn't accomplish, that I'm not done. And that was a big thing for me in roadblocks. And I just wanted to share that because I know a lot of people deal with those internal issues, those internal voices, and you just gotta keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Lady C?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with what MC and everybody has been sharing. For me personally, I am so grateful for my upbringing. It wasn't perfect, but my mom was such an encourager and always told us that we could do whatever we put our minds to. And just, and whatever we did do, she was always there, along with my father and his family as well. But just personally, as I'm going through this current journey, when I first went to the emergency room, I was completely out of it. So it wasn't, I guess, I didn't feel any type of way about the brain surgery. I was just like, okay. And but the second one, the surgery, the first one had already happened. I was pretty much back in my right mind at that time. And I will say I was anxious. And the Bible tells us to be anxious for no thing, but I was anxious, and being anxious became a roadblock for me. So I had to keep going. I had to keep trusting God no matter what. And I'm just going to be honest. I'm not scared of a lot of things, but I was scared because they're saying, hey, we got to go back, cut this same incision, because I got an incision from one side to the other. We're going to go back in there again and go get the rest of the two. I was scared, and I trust God, and he had already showed me before what he could do. And but that was a road because I trust God and believe God. And when I was being anxious, it was making me even more anxious that I was anxious, because the Bible says, be anxious for nothing, take no thought. I have you. But I thank God that, like Entity said, I continue to push, and I was able to go talk with the surgeon and get the answers that I needed. And I felt a little bit more comfortable with it. But even the day that I went, so the first time I was in the hospital for 10 days. The second time I went in at 5 o'clock in the morning, and the surgery was at 7, and I was awake and I was conscious. I was talking to the doctors, I was talking to the team, and I was anxious. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm not going to water over it, because I know now that that was part of my journey and part of what God is teaching me, that yes, you know me, yes, you trust me, yes, you adore me, but you are still human. And there are some things that will come along that you will be anxious, but you got to keep pushing and you got to trust me. And I thank God that I did. And so that was a roadblock for me, but blessed be the Lord that I was able to push past it and go ahead and do what I needed to do. So they come, roadblocks comes in all shapes, form, and fashion. We each have a journey and a cross to bear that we have. We can't get out of it. We have to have our journey. And that particular roadblock turned for me because just last week, a lady that I went to church with previously, in December, they found a tumor in her brain, and she was having a surgery last Wednesday. But I was able to take my anxiousness, my fear, and talk to her, because now I could say, I'm not telling you what somebody told me. I'm telling you what I know, that I know, that I know, that I know that God can and God will. And even in that, the Garden of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane is one of my favorite stories in the Bible. And he begged his father to take the cup away from him. But at the end of it, he said, nevertheless. And so I had to get to a place in my own heart, in my own mind, in my own soul, where I said, Jesus, Father God, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. So yeah, that was
I have to
my.
ask real quick, did everything go okay with her surgery? I'm sorry, did everything go okay with her surgery?
Absolutely. I'm sitting here talking to you. I just had my second surgery on February the 17th, just a little over 30 days ago. The first time I had the surgery on a Tuesday, I went home on a Friday. The second time I had it on a Tuesday, I went home on a Thursday. It's nobody but God.
Well, the other lady that you were talking about last Wednesday, how did it turn out for her? I think that's the question, right, Glow?
Oh, I'm sorry. It turned out well. She had a mutual friend text me on yesterday, says she's home and resting.
I'm
So
glad
thank
to
you,
both of
God.
you. I'm glad to both of you.
Thank
That's
you,
good.
God. Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking about, and I just want to share a brief comment on the roadblock that I've had in the past was pleasing other people was a roadblock for me. I compared my worth to how much I did for others. And I feel like the more I did, I could feel my worth by what I did for other people. And real quickly, that didn't work for me. That did not work for me. I decided a couple of years ago to work on that. But that was a huge roadblock for me. And when they did not appreciate me, and it would make me do more. You understand? So it was like I became a yo-yo for people. You know, the more I do, the more they didn't care, and the worse I felt. So that's something else that we do have to be mindful of. People pleasing and doing things to please other people. Then we become like we lose ourselves in all that. And so I just wanted to share that as well. This is a very heart fulfilled. This is reaching my heart tonight. And I really, really appreciate our transparency tonight. We wanted to create a space where everybody felt comfortable in sharing, and we are succeeding right there. And I just want to the people that are tapping in, please like and share, tag, like and share. our conversation tonight. So we're going to move on to the barriers. The barriers. And when you think about a barrier, you're thinking about systems or people that resist your progress, even your closest friends, even your family. Amia said something about that as well. Let's discuss those barriers. Let's discuss those barriers. Let's. Who wants to hop in here on the barriers?
I'll start this one off because for me, it's my past. You know, your in your youth, in your younger years, 20s, teens, all of that, 30s, we make decisions and we make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes leave scars, or they leave hard lessons, and this sometimes it's hard for you to get past that and not listen to those mistakes, not listen to those past decisions, to know that you can move forward and you can try, or you can reach for something that maybe in your past you thought was impossible. So the past can be a huge barrier.
Who wants to hop in? Who agrees?
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree totally.
absolutely.
The past is it's been a rough one for me, so I do agree with that. It even today, sometimes I can see where I'll reflect unconsciously. I'll make a decision based off something of the past, which lets me know I'm not completely healed from it. Um, but that is a huge one for me. The past traumas. Even with apologies 40 years later, I still have it there. So
Entity?
For me, I definitely agree. We definitely can get caught up on what was and let it affect what is. And we have to, and it's easier said than done a lot of times, because how she was saying, like, she'll catch herself doing it. Like, sometimes we don't even realize that the decision or the action is being influenced by a past version of ourselves that we haven't let go of. And it's just, it's hard to even comprehend sometimes that something that we thought we grew from,
mhm.
or something that we thought we no longer dealt with, could still have this lasting effect on us. And, whether it be, like she said, things that we did when we were younger, or something that may have happened to us, or, a bad decision, a bad relationship. I've spoke to, I myself was a single mother for some time, and it was by choice, after making some tough decisions, to do what I felt I needed to do for the betterment of not just me, but for my child. And, that's not a rough, I mean, that's not a easy road. That's rough within itself.
Mhm.
Whether you start off that way or not, when you end up with a child and you're raising them by yourself, whether it's one child, plural, and that was a gift that was given, but it was given to two people. But now you have one trying to make these decisions and fulfill these needs. You know, it's rough. Even when you have support, in my case, when you made those decisions and what you knew was best, and you still know they're best, you still can find yourself going, I'm here because I made this choice here, which caused me to have to make this choice here, and caused me have to do this here. And like, you can go back through that chain of events to all those things that you did and all those choices you made, and you can beat yourself up the whole way. And if you're not conscious of it, next thing you know, you're so stuck on what was, you're not dealing with what is.
Mhm.
And then, I always say, your blessings are yours. What's for you is for you, like I said earlier. But I also believe that you get to a point where you can't catch those new blessings, or you can't go ahead and grasp those new things because your hands are full. You got
Mhm.
to put some of that other stuff down. You have to prepare yourself for that next point and the next
Come on,
level.
preach, entity, preach.
Yes.
And it's getting past those barriers of what you carrying within and what you still dragging along. I know we all know that lovely Erica Badu song about being a bag lady. You're gonna miss your bus. You gotta
That's
put
my
this down.
song.
But it's when I remember being younger and just loving it because I loved her and not realizing the depth of that. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss my bus because I'm dragging all this stuff.
You
Or
coming.
or
They
I
gonna take
can't fit nothing else in
something
this
from
bag.
you. Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
you.
Yes. Yes, Lashonda. Yes.
Do we got a choir? Do
One
we got a
day,
choir? I'm just
I
saying.
must say, I must say, I love that girl.
But yes, we can't put nothing else in the bag. We got new blessings, new things, new ventures, new opportunities, new
Yes.
love, new life, new
Come
things to
on.
help us with this situation, like in my situation, my son, or whatever else it is. And you can't do that until you heal and you let that go. And on top of that, sometimes you can heal and you can grow and you can be done with a situation, but
Come on.
somebody else in your life is still there. And
Mhm.
you got to learn to deal with that too, because
Mhm.
I'm not there anymore. I'm not carrying that anymore. I don't see that like that anymore. I can't let you take me back there.
Right.
No, that's right.
Exactly.
Because you knew me then doesn't mean you know me now. And if you can't meet me where I'm at, now I gotta go ahead and ignore that barrier too. You can't deal with me here. So it's yeah, that's my outtake, my outlook. Oh, I can't talk
They'll show
on
a lot to
barriers
you
and
while
what
you
they are
sitting
for
up.
me and what they've been.
Man, look, I do want to give a shout out to the people who are supporting us tonight, you guys. And I know y'all just heard them bars, that entity and Lady C and Angela and Omia and Glow and what we all dropping, but we do want to
Mm.
give a shout out to now I may say this wrong, Baby Nee Sutton. We got Natasha, Mark, thank you for joining us, Gail, which is Glow's mom, Garrett, Mark, Kelly. We got Pamela, Dr. C from the CEO and founder of Allure Publishing. So again, we got Trisha. So again, you guys, and I'm sorry I may not be able to say all the names, but thank you guys for coming through and supporting us as we
Thank
talk
you.
about roadblocks, barriers, and the battle within.
That's
All
good.
right.
That's real good. Any more comments on barriers before we go into our next topic, the battle within? Because we got about 13 minutes left. We got about 13 minutes left. Does anybody has any more comments on barriers? And I hear that
Angela.
noise. Do
I
y'all hear
think
that
it's
noise?
Angela. I think it's feedback
Mhm.
from Angela's feedback from your mic, Angela. So if you are able to get on a new or maybe come back in or something.
Yeah, mute it. If you mute it, you can't hear it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, wait.
Then we
You want
can.
to say something?
I did. I wanted to speak on when she was saying barriers. For me, my thoughts
It's
came to
it's
my big.
it's a lot of noise, Angela.
Yeah, we can't really hear you, but if you can maybe try to connect again, maybe leave out and reconnect, maybe it'll be a better connection. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, it stopped.
You know what,
yeah, it
Lashonda,
did.
though? You know what I
Uh-huh.
kind of wanted to hit a little bit?
Okay.
I kind of wanted to hit, and I know we only have a short time, but like moments when you felt like you weren't enough, and maybe we kind of talked about that a little bit, but I would like to hear some feedback about that because I know sometimes as a publisher, I get that sometimes from authors or just being a leader and a professional. Um, in an agency, I get that sometimes. And it's like, I think a lot of that feeling like you're not enough, I don't know, maybe it comes from what you see on social media. You see people saying, oh, I done sold 10,000 books. And maybe
Mhm.
because you only sold 10, you think you ain't enough. Well, maybe they just talking stuff. You don't really know that a person done sold 10,000 books. Okay. And sometimes they make these like, oh, you doing all this and that. Now, y'all know how y'all be on social media and you showing all of this stuff. You probably done rented that car, rented that house, did something, and now you making everybody else or some people may feel like they're not enough because of that, but it has nothing to do with that. You know, success looks different for different people, but I just kind of wanted to get some feedback on why are we feeling like we are not enough when you are, like, you making things happen? You done wrote a book. So number one, you are enough. There's several people who haven't written a book. So you can't say that just because, and you know what? And I'll say, like with a Beyonce or anybody who's in the public eye, it's like they've been doing that stuff for 10, 15, 20 years. So you write a book one year and you think you're not enough because you only sold one. No, you are enough. I'm here to tell you, you are enough. That's a lot of talk and chatter that people be saying. So that's what I kind of want to get into. And I want to hear feedback from you ladies about that particular thing before we go.
Let me
I think, go
okay,
ahead.
go ahead, Lady C.
Well, I really like that. And let me say, is that Shanita? Is that correct? Am I saying?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, awesome. I think one of the things that as women and as people, period, just mankind, humankind, we have to be careful not to compare ourselves to others. And I feel for our young people who, because when we were coming up, like for me, first social media was MySpace. I never joined it, and it took me over a year to join Facebook. But now our young people, they have Facebook and Instagram and whatever else is out there, and Snapchat, and it is very easy to see what people are posting. And as you said, a lot of times that's just chatter, that's rentals, that's this and it's that, and it's not really the real deal. And you have to be careful not to compare yourself to what you see going on out there, but know what is right for you, what your purpose is, what God's plan is for your life. And then, as Amia said, stay focused. As Glow has said, stay focused on it, because you don't want to get caught up comparing, because that's when things can go off the rails. It can really go off the rails. And we want to stay focused on, and as Entity said, what's for me is for me. My blessings are for me. My cross is for me. And I want to stay focused right there. And if any young people run across this broadcast, I just want to say to them, don't get caught up in social media. Don't get caught up in what you see going on out there and start comparing yourself in your life to what you see. Because unfortunately, a lot of what we see is not the real deal. It's not the truth. And so, yeah, that's what I just wanted to share. Like, we have to be careful not to start comparing.
I love that.
I love that too. What I have to share on this is secrets in unhealed situations, wounds. We've been wounded. Okay, we've had some disappointments. We've had some abuse. We've had some trauma. We've had a lot, coming up. And when we don't recover from these things, we are going through life broken, right? So it's like we never give ourselves, we just cover it up. We don't tell anybody. Conversations like this, we should do this all the time. This is what we should be doing, right? Talking to one another, healing, getting it out, being transparent. Well, we keep secrets. We don't want nobody to know. We don't want nobody to know. So when you write a book, and not just if you write a book, but when you tell your testimony, and the more you tell it, you set yourself free. So that, hiding things, I think that's a big part of it. Don't want nobody to know. And then somebody put a price, they put a time limit on how fast we're supposed to heal. You still talking about that? Yes, I'm still talking about it. I'm still hurt. I'm still angry. Yes. So we have to surround ourselves with people who understand. Okay, build our circle. We talked about that earlier in our week sessions about having that small circle. We don't need a lot of people. We just need people who support, people who care, and people who listen. So I think that's another thing that hinders us as well.
In setting high expectations, for me, that's a big one. I expect everybody to be me. When I say that, I mean I expect you to be decent because I'm being decent. So I did put a lot of high expectations on people that I felt that was close to me, as we as I think it should be at times. It shouldn't be those very ones. Social media for me is a lot of mouth. I learned that just from being on it for so long. But when it's your loved one, when it's someone that you even lay next to, tell you or say, this is not, it won't work. And then when it do work, it's just that level of expectation that I used to put on people that always disappointed. So less expectation, less disappointment.
Mhm.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
In regards to Shanita, man, I always tell people listening to social media how you so messed up out here. You have to remember that you can't pay attention to the outside noise. That's their path, that's their race they're running, that's their journey. Your only competition is you, because the only person that knows what your goals are, what your obstacles are, what you're trying to accomplish, how hard you work to get to this point, how long it's gonna take to get to the next level, is you and God. Like, you can't sit back and compare and contrast. This, when it comes to life, this just isn't that. If we spent less time worrying about what was going on around us and focused on what was needed for us and what was going on within us, we would all be so much better. And I know it's hard because you got it pouring in social media everywhere, and even in your movies, TV, if you're not selective about your choices in music, like, it's there. Everybody's living this perfect life with no flaws. It even now, let's go back to social media. You can alter a photo and not even look like you in real life. You ever see somebody that you know from online and you're like, I'm not sure that's them, because they don't even look
Don't
like
look like
that
the photo.
when you
Man,
walk up on
that's
them.
deep there.
And
That's real deep.
so many are living in a
I'm glad
facade.
she said that.
Living in a
So many are living in a facade. Like, they don't even know who the real them is anymore.
But you know what?
Yeah.
It's. I just want anybody that's watching to understand. I like how we're talking because we piggybacking off each other. I just want people to know that it's as easy as it sounds. It takes time to get there too. Yes, she's telling us this is how it's done. You gotta stay focused. You gotta do this. It didn't happen for me overnight. I'm just being real. It took some time, and yes, I know God, and yes, I know how good He is, but sometimes it can take some a little longer to get to that point where you can say, shut it off. It don't mean nothing. As unreal as Facebook and social media is, it still play a part in some of those dark places that we don't talk about. We can say all day, that don't affect me. But then you see somebody who just had a body surgery, then you look at yourself like,
It does. It does.
Unconsciously happens. So guys, it's a process, and she is saying 100% truth. Stay focused, put them horse blinders on, and shut out the noise.
And I don't think we just come to where we perfect it, like we perfect it, but we have an awareness of it, right?
That
So
part, yeah.
it's there. But the more we challenge it and the more we take those steps to free ourselves, the more we will stay free. When something has happened and something is going on, pick up the phone, journal, write about it, get it out. And that brings us into like the last segment of how doubt, fear, and all these different things silence us. Don't let nothing silence you, and even me having a voice, I'm working on that even now. Believe it or not, people be saying, you be doing so good. I'm so shy. Like I was. I'm not gonna stop saying that. My godfather, yes. Like I'm serious. Like you just wouldn't believe it. But like before we come on and we got to do this, I'll be like, oh Lord, here we go. But at the end of the day, I'm here. I got to do it. I can't let nothing silence me. I can't let nothing, drown me. I just can't let it do it no more. So we got to just keep fighting. Every day it's a daily battle. You just don't come completely free where I'm just perfect. I love this. But it is a thing. It is a thing. And it is a process. And we have to keep working on it every day, y'all. Every day.
Listen, I feel the same way like you do. this is nothing that I and I love to get together with my sisters and authorship and the She family and to talk about this stuff. But it's nerve wracking for me too. This it be a nerve every time a show comes. Be like, oh gosh, am I gonna fall on my face? Like, what is gonna happen?
Well,
Like
but
I
I mean,
definitely get nervous every time.
but this is us putting us out there. This is all of us trying. That's why this is beautiful. I mean, yeah, you might be like, oh, somehow that ringtone made it through and it shouldn't have.
I
But
messed up at the
this is
beginning.
Life.
this is
Real
us
life.
trying, right? Real life trying, saying I'm gonna take this step, and I'm gonna be nervous and anxious, and maybe I will fall flat on my face and say the wrong thing. But at least we're trying. And
You did
my
it.
mom,
Yeah.
shout out to my
Yeah,
mom,
just
she
doing
said
it.
it. We did something
Mhm.
that's hurried.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like LaShonda said, we kind of gotta wrap it up, y'all. Man, like I could talk with y'all like all night, really. But I do want to go around and you guys talk about your book, let people know what the names of your books are again, where they can get them from if you are an author on this platform right now. And just give a pointer or something that a takeaway that someone can take away from your book if they were to purchase one or two or whatever you have. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and start with Glow.
So again, my name is Glow Rose. I'm the author of Good Night, My Blessing, A Mother's Love Letter, and it is an amazing nighttime story, easy reader for your kids to enjoy with you, feel a mother's love, feel comforted, and enjoy it as they grow up. So I highly, highly, highly encourage you to get Good Night, My Blessing, and check out glowrosebooks.com for other books I have available.
All right, thank you. Omia.
Oh, okay. I was all caught up in what she was saying. I'm Omia Tale. I am the author of Dr. Peabody and also the creator of Girl Get Up Journal. You can get it from shepublishing.llc.com or off Amazon. The journal, I got so much great feedback off the journal. It helps so many people. The reviews is just flowing in. I wish I can just post it everywhere. It's an all-in-one journal. It's everything that I've always wanted in one journal that I used to have to buy 5 or 6 of them to get. Dr. Peabody is just one of those page turners, psycho doctor who's out for revenge, and she let her past interfere with her future. You got to pick it up. It's just a page turner. And I have another one coming out. It's called LOVE. That's me, inspired by my son. He's Down syndrome, and I just wanted to bring light to the world as far as sharing the love. And you're gonna read that through his book, hopefully coming out soon, right, Shanita?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Entity.
Hey, I'm Entity, the author of Here I Am. I think about a memoir for
Yeah,
motivational
I was
purposes.
wondering if somebody was gonna show the book now.
Yeah,
Okay.
my beloved cover. But yeah, Here I Am, a memoir for motivational purposes. It's a bit about me, but a lot about the reader. I use my story and what I've been through and a glimpse into my life as, growing up in the inner city, my time in the military, my experiences with that, the traumas, the healing from that, and just navigating life and growing and coming through those things and just relating it to the fact that no matter what you're going through, what you're experiencing, that it does get better and you should keep going in the whys. And just sometimes people just need something or someone to relate to remind them that they're human and they're not alone and they're not the only one dealing with these things. And I always say it's something in this for everyone, and I really hope that all of y'all take the time to pick up a copy. It's available at She Publishing LLC, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million. Yeah, pretty much everywhere. Get a copy. Thank you.
Before we get to me and LaShonda, Lady C, if you have a book or was gonna write a book, what would the name of that book be? And what would you be wanting to say to your readers?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. I have over the last 90 days or so been thinking about that and talking to God about it. And so I will be writing a book, really talking about this journey. And he told me one night while I was laying in the hospital about 3 in the morning. He said, I can make your crooked places straight. I can make your crooked places straight. And so that is going to be the title, and just going to talk about how my left side had swollen up so bad that it had pushed all the way over to the right side. And where we have two lobes in our brain, it was over to the left, was over to the right, and the path was crooked. But after that first surgery, he made it straight again. And so that's what I want to share, and how he can do that in every area of our lives.
My gosh.
He can make it straight.
Amazing.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, LaShonda. Thank you for that, Lady C. Dixon.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
you.
That I love you, Lady C. I do. I
Love
do.
you
Thank
too.
you for sharing that. I'm LaShonda, and this is my book. I jumped up and went and got it. This is Tears of a Lost Soul, and this is a memoir of my life story. In this book, my daughter, first of all, I abandoned my children. I lost my children. And after my substance abuse took me under, I lost my mind. My mental health was gone. So just imagine, you can imagine me wearing a size 1, jaws sunk in, all the things, just walking the streets as a vagabond, right? For 22 years. And so you all are looking at, this book I'm holding up. It reveals how God took my life and put me back together. It reveals how once I was restored back to my children, one of my sons murdered the other one. And so it was just like chaos all over again. How did I make it through is revealed in this book. So grab your copy and support Tears of a Lost Soul. This book is to reach mothers, fathers, families, children rivalry. It touched so many. It just touched a lot. This book does touch a lot. It's a good read. It's a page turner. When you start, you can finish it in 2 hours. You don't want to put it down, but you will see how we all made it out. Even though I lost a son to death, and I lost one to life in prison. And then my abandoned daughter, she is back in my life, not as good as she is going to be, but she did show up at my door one day. And then, so also my granddaughters, they wrote a portion in the book. One lost her father to prison, and the other one lost her father to death. So then my son, he wrote something short in the book as well. And then my story starts. So you get a preview of their testimonials before mine's actually start. And please support Tears of a Lost Soul. I believe this book will touch your soul. I believe this book will show you how life is possible, and that we do get second chances, second and third chances. I can't even count the chances that God gave me to be able to sit here on this platform and say that He is able. So, yeah, that's Tears of a Lost Soul. So, y'all get that book, get it. And you can get it on any platform. When you Google it, it's on everything, but it can be found on shepublishing.com, and it can be found on my website, tearsofalostsoul.com. So I love y'all, and thank y'all for being with us tonight.
Yeah. And I don't always like, talking about myself, y'all. You know what I'm saying? My journey
That part of
started.
it.
My journey actually started with writing a book for my family, and just wanting to show my daughters the traditions and the family values that me and their dad instilled into their lives. So that first book, it was like keep them coming home with love, and the subtitles is what makes it meaningful. But the books that I am actually publishing, that is so meaningful to me. It's meaningful to this company as well as to the authors who are a part of our roster. But it's a series from projects to publisher. And so this is the first book. This is the book that is coming out in May. from projects to publisher, where there's no seat at the table, build your own. And this is what we've been doing here with the She family. We are building a literary family. Every book that I have published is inside of this book. I market every author. I talk about my relationship with all of the authors, and there is a letter to each of the authors in both books. So again, it just commemorates the years of service that me and the team here at She Publishing LLC, what we've done, who we've met. You guys are wonderful. You guys are amazing. Like, I keep going because of you. You guys are my brothers and sisters in authorship. I may be your publisher.
Did it? Yes, yes, and we love you back.
I'm done.
We love you back. We love you
Oh,
back.
love you.
I love all of you. And I am so glad. I'm just honored tonight. I'm overjoyed. I want to cry because she's crying because I love
I'm
her.
crying.
I love her.
It was a bug that flew.
This
Water
has
coming out
been
your
an
eye.
amazing night, y'all. Listen. Y'all come back and see us next week. We will be here. Like, love, tag, share. Like, love, tag, share, subscribe. Do whatever you got to do, because we do love what we do and we do love you. Okay. So y'all come back and see us. Anybody else want to send a shout out to anybody?
Yeah. Mark said he breaking out the tissues, but I'm telling you, this is just a bug, y'all. But but we will be back again next week, y'all. We kind of went over time, but we thank you guys for coming out, and I hope to see, each and every one of you. If you can come back next week, that will be our final episode celebrating Women's History Month, even though we celebrate it every day. Okay. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week.
All right,
Thank
y'all.
you,
Touch somebody
everyone.
life with yours. Touch somebody life with yours. See y'all later.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.